Hey there, how's everyone doing? I think it's be good to talk about some of the stuff that's been going on. A lot of crazy things happening on this planet, and humans just seem to, be just fine with it. You know what I'm saying? People are too content with the way things are, and things are very screwed up. And there's a lack of real depth and meaning going on in this society. We have a lot of superficial activities going on, and people are serving selfish and narrow-minded agendas. And then they're smiling and pretending to be your friend, but they're really just trying to leg you up and beat you in the game. Survival of the fittest, right? We got this social Darwinism going on. It's like every life is not valuable. Only the lives of those who are successful, right? Or those who it's like, hey, he accomplished something great, so his life matters. But what about that kid from that poor country? He's not successful, he's just trying to survive, but no one cares about him, even if he dies of starvation. Because, he didn't invent an iPhone, or he didn't make a hit song or something, so no one cares about him. But there's this selfish kind of love going on where people are selective with where they choose to give their love and what they care about. See, people being selective with who they show compassion and empathy to, and people are being inauthentic. If you observe people, when they're interacting with others, when they're talking or whatever, they act different with different people in unhealthy ways. Like they'll act, one way with certain people. They might act like friendly and intimate, and then with others they'll be cold, and they won't say nothing. And this other person didn't even do anything. Maybe they just don't like him for whatever dumb reason. It was like, oh, I don't like him, because he thinks this, so I don't like him now. Because he just has a thought I disagree with. But it's just a thought. Why are you getting all caught up over a thought? See, people have thoughts and they got opinions, but it doesn't mean shit. Because they're just forms, right? And forms are not absolute. See, in Buddhism, right, they're saying that, well, spirituality, all forms are temporary. No forms matter in the ultimate scheme of things. And that includes your thoughts, your body. I mean, everything is subject to decay. These too shall pass. See, people are living their lives and they just want all this pleasure. And they want just to be excited and happy all the time. And then they get upset, when they're feeling bored or whatever, or they get fed up. It's like, I've had enough of this shit. I got to get out of this town that I'm living in. I got to move somewhere. I got to travel, and people do all this stuff. And traveling's fine and all that, and and you can live to the fullest, go to parties every night, and go to the bars, and you could hook up with a million people, and you could have sex with someone different every week. But what I'm saying is, like that shit's not going to give you any lasting satisfaction, man. It'll give you a buzz temporarily. It feels good while you're eating the candy, But once you swallow the candy, it doesn't really matter at that point. You're not really tasting it anymore. It's just putting calories on you. But so people are trying to distract themselves, from really facing themselves. See, people are don't want to be alone with themselves. It's hard to face yourself. People don't want to be alone with their thoughts and with their emotions, so they distract themselves with all this shit. Whether it's working, long hours every week, it's like, oh, well, I need the money, but they also secretly just want to use it as an excuse to not spend time with themselves. It's like people would rather work an 8-hour shift or 10-hour shift than sit for 30 minutes alone in a room and just focus on their breath or something. Because that's some deep shit, and people don't want to do it because it makes them scared. It's like, shit, what if I lose myself in this? But they'll find themselves. That's what they don't realize. You'll find yourself by being alone with yourself. See, because when you're alone, that's when you're most authentically yourself, because you're not worried about trying to be a certain way. It's like, oh, I gotta act a certain way because I'm in this situation, and that's how society is saying it. So I gotta be this way now, otherwise people are gonna think I'm crazy. You don't want that, right? So when you're alone, that's when you can really see who you are. But but people don't want to be alone. And society tells us that. People rush into relationships and and they'll have casual sex with random people, and they'll feel empty and gross afterwards. But you know what? They'll still do it because it's like, well, gee, I'd rather have that than like just be sitting, sitting twiddling my thumbs. But that's the thing, man. People don't want to look inside, because that's where the true satisfaction comes from. You can go to 100 different countries, and you can go on all these nice vacations, and you could you could do all these fun activities, right? Hang out, parties, whatever. But it's not gonna give you real satisfaction. The real satisfaction comes from looking within and discovering who you really are. Which is beyond your name. Who you are is not your name and your occupation. And like what you do, and like what nationality you are. That's not who you are. That's just a form. That's just a temporary structure that you're identifying with. But who you are is beyond all that. That's you're a deep entity that goes beyond what you physically see. That's just a temporary form. But see, so you gotta look inside, because that's where the real joy comes from. And remember, joy is not like being high. That's not what joy. Joy is it's a simple contentment. It's finding peace in a chaotic and troubled world where people are just running around racing and just trying to get as much pleasure as they can. Because it's like, well, shit, we might all die tomorrow, so we just gotta go crazy and be like animals and just have as much pleasure as we can before it's too late. But see, there's so much anxiety in that. That's no way to live, and you're definitely not gonna find peace in that. Namaste.